Hello once again, YouTube. This is Remy, the Phoenix, signing in on my Laputa build I think I called this Block Planet this series. I don't know, but we're going to go through several different creative worlds of mine. This one will just be a progression shot? Progressive shot? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. In progress, incomplete, most of it's temporary, some of it's just me messing around. But this is where I have gotten to with the Laputa build so far. Um, and nothing's complete. I think I'm going to redo this ceiling roof. Finish up the tree, maybe change the taper on it a bit. I'm probably not going to have nether brick. Things like that. That's temporary. But I did add just to give another semblance of size. I think last time I showed the curvature I did, and I know that in the pictures it was a more direct diagonal. This one kind of flowers out, blooms out, I guess. But this level, I don't believe was added, nor was that cylinder. Well, I'm positive that cylinder wasn't added last time I did one of these. This bottom floor might have been. But to give some semblance of size, there's still another level below this, and then another wall. So it's going to be quite big. Quite big. Yeah, quite big. What else? What else? It seems like there was some other stuff. Oh, yes. The, kind of Greekish builds that I have going that are kind of, decaying. We have these things that this one like would have been a support for this, but it's all destroyed. This one still is a support, etc., things like that. I think it's, looking good. I think that it still has a lot of room to improve. Ignore that. That whole thing's going to change. And I'm positive that that's going to change. Yeah, I did kind of a Stonehenge thing down here, but it's going to change. The well's still going to be there because I like... Here, I'll show you guys this. I like the fact that you can just run straight off this into the water. Now, granted, that's dangerous still, but I think it's cool. So I'm going to keep the well there, but the Stonehenge thing will change. So this level is going to be grass, this level is going to be grass, this one's going to have an outer wall that comes along the edge here. This edge, all the way around. And it's going to be mostly broken down, so there's actually not going to be that many wall, it's just going to be in segments. That much wall. But there will be a few buildings up here, but this will be the floor that has the sunken underground city. And it will be one of the ways to get down into the mining area, where there is actually stone, there is actually, ores, minerals, etc. So I'm guessing that that's about where I'm at. I haven't been working on this project non-stop. I kind of work on it at least once a week, but usually it's more like 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. And I'll be on here for, an hour or two. Nothing heavy, it's just kind of something I do when I'm watching something on Netflix. Along with some of my other creative worlds that I have going, which we will now jump into. So these are all my levels. We will not be going to the crawl level, because that's a project that I'm working on privately. Going to it would just be spoilers if I ever actually do release it. It would be a map. But Super Hostile is a series I have. The Hardcore Season 1 is a series. But Bedrock City is kind of my experimenting, building world. And I just like the name Bedrock City. It's the name of a comic book shop that I like down in Houston, Texas. Actually, I think it's in Seabrook, Texas, technically, which is just south of Houston. Anyway, this is just kind of where I go to experiment with different color palettes and everything. Um, and if we, yeah, I guess you can just kind of take a look. Like, these are all palettes that I have, all of these little things here. Um, this is some of them. Those are kind of repeats, but the color ones aren't. See, this is the palette I used for this build. I usually make a block palette to limit myself, because I think it's important to put limitations on what you're building. That was a redstone experiment. It didn't actually end up working as I thought it would, but I figured it out. So anyway, the Laputa build has a very kind of, it's resembling something that somebody else made, so I kind of have to use anything I can do to fit that palette. But if you're going with like a generic library or genetic um, ice temple kind of place, that's kind of what I was going for here. I kind of stole the style from the Hypixel's Cold War Quakecraft map, where you use ice and quartz. I thought it looked nice, and then I added in, I know that they use some blue, but I added in different shades of blue, and just kind of gave it my own spin. Yeah. And it's just experimenting with different styles and how things look. That's pretty much all this map is for. Um, but that's a kind of failed project that I will probably just delete in MC Edit. This stuff over here, these things in this, is an experiment in canyon kind of things. I saw it on a map, and I wish I could remember the name of the map. I can't off the top of my head right now, I am sorry. Map creator. But I am kind of stealing this idea, although he did not use... Why do my frames keep dropping? That is weird. It might be just the fact that it's creative world and it's rendering pretty far, but I don't know. But this whole idea of canyony aspect, and this is just me playing with different colors and trying to get, you know, different style ideas of rock and stuff. And actually we can go into one of my other builds, which is the Canyon Deep map, and see it better. Yeah. And this one doesn't have adamantium, or it's called Bedrock, isn't it? I'd call it adamantium just because that's what I learned to call it when I first started playing Minecraft. But anyway, I used coal because it gives it a nicer, I think black is a better palette to look against. Black or white, not this gray, noisy crap. Anyway, these are kind of examples of different style ideas, because I like the canyon idea. I really do, and I chose my own color palette because it kind of makes sense to me that, you know, the deeper you go, the darker the earth is, even though I know that's not how it is in real life. But I think that the map that I'm stealing it from used a brighter color palette. They didn't start off with these. Oops. Let's switch those back around. So yeah, that's, you know, this gradually fades into this, which gradually fades into this, which gradually fades into this, etc., etc. And I was just trying to experiment with different ways to form it nicely. All of these are actually too jagged for what I picture in my head, especially this one. This one's all right. And I like this one because it has this little thing right here with, you know, it kind of looks like it's been eroded. So, and I would probably form it better if it were bigger. Instead of just having it curved down to a point here, I would have it curved down to a point and then curve back out to the ground. This one was, I was kind of going with a spirally tendril kind of thing, and it didn't really work out. I don't like it. This was just supposed to be an arch. And I started making two pillars pretty much, and then I was like, I should probably start curving these. So that's kind of why it looks funny. But yeah, these two are kind of the same set idea with these spikes that come up. I forget if they're stalactites or stalagmites. I think stalagmites are the ones that come up, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, so this is an interesting idea, and it would be a cool, if you were to make a CTM map, which is something that I'm thinking about, this would be a nice way to go about the terrain, because it allows you to keep a outside land formation, right? But hold the player in hostage with how much stone you give them and their resources in that manner. Because all this is hardened clay. And these ones would be like different layers of snow on steeper mountaintops. And alone, they don't really look like snow, but if you put them up against this kind of color, you know, that gradually comes up, this would be a very dark, heavy snow. You know, slushy, it's got a lot of dirt mixed in with it, and then this is kind of the median, and then this is pure snow. So that's where I was going with that. And you can, excuse me, I accidentally hit my mic. You can add other colors, green and lime green for kind of grassy areas if you don't want to use dirt. However, there's nothing against using dirt. And this is a palette that I used. I just kind of, oh, that's a bat. Kind of delineated, like I wanted to have, you know, this top area. In my mind, this top area here would be the kind of normal ground, but then there's a lower ground down at the bottom. That would probably be about here. And, you know, it's with all three of these things, or all four of these things. But there would be like birch trees down here to kind of, you know, not sparingly birch trees. There wouldn't be all over, it would just be a couple. And then as you raise up to here, it would sparingly be oak trees. As you can see on the palette, that's where I have the oak. And I would put shrubs there as well. And then as you got into the snow area, right here, there would be spruce trees. So that's kind of how I function in map making. The Laputa build is a kind of beast of its own because it's going off of something very real. Well, not very real. It's not a real thing, but it's already been created. It's something that I'm taking it from somewhere. And granted, I'm taking the canyon idea from somewhere too, because canyons and, you know, ravines and stuff like that do exist. It's just it's not finite. You're not making a thing, you're making a formation. So this video I'm just putting out for an update mostly for the Laputa thing and showing off a few other things. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any ideas, or if you'd like to, you know, show something, or even maybe come on to a server with me to figure things out, that'd be fine. Just leave a comment. These all look really bad. Like, really bad. These are just quick little mock-ups of different kind of style ideas. But I don't think any of them really succeeded. This one, it was the first one I did, and ironically it's the best. But I did them all while I was watching Netflix, as I do. But I do like the idea of having these kind of layers of the rock. And that's mostly what I was going for. The layered rock and how it would develop. What else? Oh, the crawl level, which I won't go, well, yeah, let's go to it, okay? Let's see, where am I? Okay, cool. So if I stay like this on the camera, We can get rid of all this stuff. And if you don't know how to get these things, I'll show you here in a second. If you don't know how to get this block here, which is double smooth stone slab, or let's see, where's the other one? That's a pig spawner. I could have sworn, oh, here, up here, or the double smooth slab here, sandstone slab. It's just, you know, the give command, give. Oops. It's 43, and then you tell yourself to give them however many you want. You're in creative, so 1 is enough. And then 8 is, I believe, 8 is one of them, and then 9 is the other. I don't know which is which, but you can just try it out yourself. But this is like a giant palette that I did just for this map to delineate color of different things. But this is kind of a modular thing, and I'm going to go ahead and fly up just to kind of, there's no secrets you can really delineate from looking at it like this, other than what's above you, like water's above you and lava's above you, and, you know, air is above you. But you would be able to delineate that in the map anyway because it'd be dripping, which is kind of what I'm going for. And you can see some TNT there, but you can't tell the inside of how it would look and stuff. But I'm making these kind of modular things to go in and make kind of a maze map so that you can, in MC Edit afterwards. And I'm kind of rigging it to be kind of a role-playing map where, you know, you pick a class and you only get stuff from chests of that class, kind of a thing. So it would be, it's meant to be played with friends. And each one of these would be delineating of a different level. So like the cobblestone one way down there, which I already have in there, the giant adamantium block. That would be level 1. And then you move to the smooth stone, which is level 2, and then the brick, and then the mossy brick, and then the cracked brick, and then the decorative little scribbly brick. Here, I'll show you. The progression's down here. It's cobblestone, smooth stone, brick, stone brick, mossy stone brick, cracked stone brick, the, what is this called? Chiseled stone brick, and then the stone slab, double smooth stone slab. And the tiers are coal, iron, lapis, gold, redstone, emerald, and diamond, etc., etc. Man, there's something up with my lag. I really gotta get that figured out. But yeah, this was just me kind of putting out a palette in the way that makes sense to me. This palette over here is different than this stuff over here. This stuff is actually directly linked to the map I'm making. This is just me kind of sorting through things. So that's why there's some doubles between the two. What else? So yeah, I guess that's it. Actually, here, I can show you the one last thing. There's fighter, rogue, ranger, and mage. And these, you know, the fighter would be red, the rogue would be black, the ranger would be green, and the mage would be blue. And the chests would be marked by signs telling you what is what. And these actually have no value because they're going to be like monument blocks, as you can see here. But they match the class of the player. So I might, you know, for the lapis monument, how to get it, the mage needs to be able to do it. For the emerald one, the ranger, for the coal one, the rogue, for the, you know, etc., etc. But I'll get into that later. I won't, these ones aren't that big, there's no secrets in these ones. Although you can see TNT up there, again. But you can't see in those. I'm not going to let you see in those ones. But these ones down here aren't that bad to look at. It doesn't really give anything away. So that's the idea I have for that. If you have any comments, questions, or ideas, drop a comment, PM me, whatever, communicate it in some way, even make a video, don't care. Just kind of an update video. So I will see you guys later. Peace.